So we'll be starting with metronidazole. So what is this metronidazole? It is an imidazole derivative, nitro containing imidazole derivative. What is imidazole? 1,3-diazole. Okay, 1,3-diazole. Okay, it is a 5-membered ring containing nitrogen at 1 and 3 position. Methyl at the second. See, in between the methyl, in between the two nitrogen is the methyl, and next to that is the nitro group, and your so, first amine nitrogen is connected to an ethanolic side chain. So this is the structure of metronidazole. This is the structure of metronidazole. So it contains a basic imidazole ring. In between the imidazole ring, it is an methyl group, and it contains an nitro group at the fifth position, and the first position nitrogen, your ethanol group is attached. So this is the basic structure of your nitro. It's your metronidazole. So what is metronidazole? So if the nitro group of the metal is reduced by the protozoa, so it acts as a prodrug. It acts as a prodrug. So metronidazole is an example of a prodrug where the nitro group gets converted into the amino group, where the nitro group present in the metronidazole gets converted to your amino group by the protozoal enzymes. Okay, by the protozoal enzymes, leading to the cytotoxic product. So this becomes when your nitro group gets converted to an amino group. When the nitro group gets converted to your amino group, then it becomes toxic to the protozoans. Why? Because this amino group then binds to your DNA and proteins, resulting into the parasitic death. So what happens? Basically, the nitro group which is present in the ring gets converted into your amino group. Okay, that amino group then becomes cytotoxic because that gets introduced into your DNA chain and also in the proteins. So because of the altered protein, this results in the death of the amoebocyte protozoans. Okay, so this leads to the death of the parasite. So they are used as a mixed amoebocytes. They are the drug of choice for intestinal and extra-intestinal, means in the walls of the intestine they can penetrate and kill the propozoites. Okay, they act on the propozoites, but they don't have any effect on the cyst. They don't have any effect on the cyst. So how does the mechanism of action exactly? So the metronidazole enters the cells. So they get converted. It gets converted in an anaerobic organism by redox enzyme that is known as pyruvate ferroxidine oxidoreductase. So pyruvate ferridoxine oxidoreductase enzyme that converts your metronidazole into your amino metabolite group. This metabolite, that amino group that is formed, that's converted in, gets added into your DNA chains, and this leads to your DNA fragmentation. So this is how your metronidazole acts. So thus inhibiting your nucleic acid synthesis. Okay. So this is the mechanism of action of your metronidazole. So pharmacokinetic, it is metabolized by oxidation in liver by mixed function oxidase followed by glucuronidation. So oxidation takes place, your methyl group gets oxidized and that gets glucurinated. Excreted in urine as unchained drug plus your metabolite. Clearance is decreased in liver impairment. Basic metabolism takes place in the liver. So if there is a liver impairment, then its clearance is decreased. Pharmacological effect and the clinical use, it used as anti-amoebic, kills entamoeba histolytica trophocytes but not the cyst as mentioned. Treatment of all tissue infections with entamoeba histolytica, not effective against intraluminal parasites, so must be used with a luminal amoebocyte like diloxanate furanate. So direction of urate acts on your cyst. Okay, that is intra-illuminal parasites. So they have to be always given if there is, they have to be given in combination with diloxanate, urate or paromycin due to the rapid absorption from GIT. They are also used as anti-trichomonasis, anti-anaerobic bacteria and against anti-diatretics. Okay, so this is the pharmacological and clinical uses of metronidazole. Adverse effects and cautions, yeah. Nausea, headache, dry mouth, metallic taste in the mouth, frequent vomiting, infrequent vomiting, diarrhea, rash, insomnia and neutropenia. Rare cases, it was severe central nervous system toxicity, that is ataxia, encephalitis, seizures during what it was seen during drug. Has a disulfiram like effect, so that nausea and vomiting can occur if alcohol is ingested during therapy. So it has got effect similar to your diet. So this leads to your vomiting and nausea if it is taken during along with alcohol. It potentiates anticoagulant activity of coumarin. So it can act as, it will increase the anticoagulant activity of coumarin. It accelerates the elimination of phenytoin. It accelerates the elimination of phenytoin and phenylbarbiturates. So it should be avoided during pregnancy, and because it is teratogenic, means it causes mutations in your embryo. So that's why, and it is cancerous. So that's why you should not take metronidazole or antiprotozoal drug during your pregnancy. So these things have to be remembered. So let's go for the synthesis. So what is the first step of synthesis? Ethane 1,2-diamine. So ethylene diamine, that is amino group at 1 and 2 position of ethane. That you treat it with acetonitrile and zinc. So it undergoes cyclization to give 2-methyl-1H-imidazole. So it undergoes cyclization to give 2-methyl-1H-imidazole. That's the first step. Then the nitration, that is phosphorus pentoxide and HNO3. Nitration takes place. You get your 2-methyl-5-nitro-1H-imidazole. And the last step you treat it with chloroethanol. You reflux with chloroethanol and you get your metronidazole. It's a 3-step, 4-step reaction. First step is your cyclization, second step nitration, and third step is your chloro treatment reaction with your chloroethanol to give your metronidazole. Now other examples are ornidazole and tinidazole. So what is the difference between ornidazole and your metronidazole? Only difference is ethanolamine is replaced by your ethyl sulfonate group. Okay, your OH is replaced by SO2C2H5. Okay, your OH is replaced by SO2 ethyl. And in case of ornidazole, there is an extra ligand, methyl chloride. Methyl chloride is added to your ethanol group. Okay. So the side chain along with ethanol, it will contain methyl chloride which is attached to. That's the difference between imidazole, metronidazole, tinidazole and ornidazole. Next class of drug is amitin and dihydroamitin. So the structure is amitin and dihydroamitin. So it is a tetrahydro. Basically it contains an tetrahydroisoquinoline ring. So basically what does it contain? A tetrahydro. It contains a tetrahydroisoquinoline. So this is an isoquinoline, tetrahydroisoquinoline, which is fused with a methoxy group at the 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and 7 position there is an methoxy group. This tetrahydro isoquinoline is fused to a piperidine, okay, with an ethyl substitution and connected to another molecule of isoquinoline, another molecule of your isoquinoline, okay. Okay, so this is the structure of your amidine. So it contains an tetrahydro isoquinoline mud with a 2-methoxy group, which is connected to an cyclopropyl ring with an ethyl substitution and connected to a second molecule of tetrahydro isoquinoline by a methylene group, and that is the structure. And dihydroamidine is nothing but there is an extra double bond between this. Next to your ethyl group, there is an extra double bond. So that is dihydroamidine. It's a double bond next to your ethyl group. Okay, that is the structure of this is the synthetic form variety of your amidine with reduced side effects. So let's go for this. So chemistry, what does the chemistry? Amidine is an alkaloid derived from ipecac. Okay, dihydroamidine is a synthetic analog of that. So dihydroamidine is synthetically produced antiprotozoal similar to amidine in its antiamoebic property and structure. They differ only in the double bond with, next to the double, but it has lesser side effect. This double bond, when it is introduced between these two positions, it has got reduced side effects. Okay. So mechanism of action, they act on tissue tropocytes and causes irreversible blockage of protein synthesis. So they interfere with the protein synthesis. They are always given parenterally in like intramuscular or subcutaneous, but never given as IV or orally. It is given either subcutaneous or intramuscular. Please remember this. Amidine cannot be taken orally or cannot be given as IV. It should always be given intramuscular or subcutaneous. Clinically uses, it is used in amoebic liver abscess, intestinal wall infection and severe forms of amoebiasis, acute amoebic dysentery. So when there is a prolonged infection, then only amidine is given. Dihydroamidine along with antibiotic is preferred due to the less toxicity. So usually dihydroamidine, because of its lesser toxicity, it is preferred over amidine. Adverse effects: pain in the site of injection, abscess, they cause nausea, vomiting and diarrhea. Neuromuscular weakness, yeah, you get weakness, lethargic, spasticity of your muscles. Severe toxicity like cardiotoxicity, cardiac arrhythmias is seen, hypertension and congestive heart failure can be associated with amidine. That's why it has to be taken with precaution. Next is eflornithine. Next class of drug is eflornithine. So what is this eflornithine? It is also an antimetabolite. It is also an example of antimetabolite. So it is similar to your ornithine, and ornithine is an amino acid. So eflornithine is nothing but a fluorinated analog of ornithine. It's a fluorinated analog of ornithine. Okay, it has a role in trypanocidal drugs. Okay, only difference between your ornithine and your eflornithine is that it contains an extra difluoromethyl group at the second position. That's the only difference between ornithine and your eflornithine. So what is this ornithine? So ornithine is an amino acid. So if it's an amino acid, first you have to write NH2C double bond O. Okay. So let us write it in like this: Hills First hill is your acid. Second, 2, and third hill. Okay. First hill is your acid, third hill is your amino acid. And at the first hill there is also an amino. So in case of F-fluorothene, there is an CF2 group attached. That is F-fluorothene. Okay. So this is the structure. So it acts as an anti-metabolite. Okay. It is an fluoroamino acid or an alpha of and an amino acid group. It derives from an ornithine. So eflornithine is a medication used to treat African trypanosis, that is sleeping sickness, and excessive hair growth on the face. So if there is an excessive hair growth on the, then they usually prescribe eflornithine to prevent the excessive hair growth on the face. So mechanism of action is what? This eflornithine is called as an suicide inhibitor. Why it is called as an suicide inhibitor? Because it irreversibly binds with ornithine decarboxylase enzyme. It irreversibly binds with ornithine decarboxylase enzymes and preventing the natural substrate ornithine from accessing to the active site. So instead of ornithine getting added to the enzyme, this eflornithine gets added. And the enzyme ornithine decarboxylate catalyzes the decarboxylation of ornithine, a product which is used in urea synthesis to form proteosin. And this reaction is committed step in your polyamine synthesis. So this is very important, this reaction. So this sequencing or polyamine sequencing synthesis is inhibited. So they act as an antimetabolite. So instead of your ornithine getting binded to your ornithine decarboxylase enzyme, this gets and thus prevents the formation of your proteosin, which is very necessary in your polyamine synthesis, and this play an important role in DNA and RNA synthesis. This is in the DNA and RNA and protein synthesis. Thus, eflornithine acts. The next class of drug is chloroquine. So chloroquine is an anti-malarial drug, and it is found to have higher concentration in the liver. So since its concentration was found to be higher in the liver, they could act in combination with metronidazole 2 and like luminal amibacide for the treatment of amoebic liver disease. So if there is a liver systemic infection and the infection is in the liver, amoebic infection in the liver, chloroquine can be given in combination with other drugs, systemic anti-amoebic like and metronidazole for treatment of amoebic liver disease, because the chloroquine was found to have higher concentration in the liver. Next example is atovaquone. Atovaquone, that it contains a quinone intermediate. It contains an quinone pharmacophore. What is this quinone? 2-benzorin with an okay. So this is quinone with an which is attached to a cyclohexyl ring and to a 4-chlorobenzene. So this is the structure of atovaquone. This is the structure of your atovaquone. So how does this act? They act by inhibiting the mitochondrial electron transport mechanism. So that will be the energy product. So no, it will block the energy formation in the microorganism. So this will prevent the protozoal energy which is necessary for their survival. So they will block the energy transport mechanism through blocking the electron transport mechanism which is present in the mitochondria, and this leads, when the there is no production of energy within the cells, this leads to the cellular death. So this is how atovaquone acts. Okay. The next class of drug is pentamidine. Next class of drug is pentamidine. So it contains an pentane ring which is connected to an phenolic amidine. So what is this? So the name itself contains the structure. So what is pentamidine? It contains an phenolic group with an amidine. This is known as amide. NH2 double C double bond N H. This particular linkage is known as amidine linkage, which is connected to a phenol at the fourth position. This phenol is then connected to an pentane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again that is connected to a phenol. Okay. Similarly, and C double bond NH. So it is an symmetrical molecule. It is an symmetrical molecule. Okay. If you draw, it is an symmetrical molecule. So what is the mechanism of action of pentamidine? So this pentamidine, they inhibit your DNA and RNA synthesis. They bind and aggregate in the ribosomes and thus inhibit your cell division. Okay, and they can be used in treatment of various diseases. Okay, in protozoal infection. The only side effects are bronchospasm, leukemia, thrombocytopenia, acute pancreatitis, acute renal failure, increased liver functioning test, and hypertension, and many others. So because of the side effects associated with this pentamidine, the use was reduced gradually. Okay, so it acts by inhibiting your DNA, RNA because they get aggregated in your ribosomes and thus prevents the cell division. The next class of drug is your antibiotics. So antibiotics also can be used for the treatment of your, along with combination of your other antiprotozoal. Antibiotics also can be given like tetracycline, chlortetracycline, erythromycin and paramycin. They can be given. So paramycin is an aminoglycoside antibiotic, directly affects in the lumen. They interfere with the protozoal DNA and RNA synthesis. So basically this antibiotics affects the DNA and RNA synthesis like paramycin. Whereas in case of tetracycline, they act indirectly by destroying the enteric bacteria necessary for your amoebic growth. These amoebas, they rely on the bacterials which is present in your gut, GIT. So if you try to cleanse the GIT by cleaning the microorganism, then due to the reduced shortage of the microorganisms, bacterial microorganisms, this causes a death. So this is how the antibiotics act. Okay, adverse effects are like diarrhea, anorexia. So these are some of the clinical symptoms and the drugs. So what are the drugs in case of asymptomatic cyst carriers? Idoquine, paramycin and diloxanate. So if there is a cyst, you give this particular try. If you find that there are cysts in your when you do the feces test, and if you find cyst over there, then they give idoquinol, paramycin and if there is diarrhea, dysentery and extraintestinal infection, then you give metronidazole along with idoquinone, paramycin and diloxanate. So they give a combination. And if there is an amoebic liver abscess, then you give chloroquine along with metronidazole or emetic. So this is the treatment regime in case depending upon the symptoms. Depending upon the symptoms, you can give the drugs. So these are some of the drugs specific and the mode of action, how the drugs acts. So these are some of the drugs which can be used as in the treatment of protozoal infection. So these are the dosages which are given prescribed for the different. So that ends your anti-protozoal drugs.